are the materials you'll need to make the Easy Street tank. You're going to use line brand yarn, cotton hemp, in the color maple. And you'll need 2 different needle sizes. The larger size that you need is a US 6 4.0 millimeter in 40 inches, and you'll use that for the majority of the pattern. And then for the hem, the arm finishing, and the collar, you'll need this smaller needle size, which is a US 4 3.5 millimeter. You'll also need stitch markers, tape measure, scissors, tapestry needle, and then waste yarn, or this is called a stitch holder. You can put it onto your needle like that and then pull the stitches off onto it easier. So I really like using this. And everything is linked in the pattern. The pattern is written for 9 sizes. Highlight your size throughout the pattern for ease of reading. When reading pattern, if a size is marked by a dash, that means do not do that instruction for your size. Model is 5 foot 7 inches or 170 centimeters and is wearing size medium with a 38 inch or 96.5 centimeter bust and 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters of positive ease. The left strap and right strap is referred to when you are wearing the tank. Tank is worked top down, starting with the back neck rows, working until the underarm increases, the bottom of the underarm increases, putting the back stitches on hold, and then the left strap and right strap are worked, joining in the front, working the underarm increases, and then joining the back and the front together with backwards loop cast on. The main body is worked in the round, and then a twisted 1x1 ribbing is used for the hem. Stitches are picked up at the collar and worked in a twisted 1x1 ribbing with smaller needles, and the armholes are worked in smaller needles as well. Since this is made top down, you can put the stitches on a waste yarn or a stitch holder to try on the tank as you go to check fit and length. This tutorial is best viewed with the written pattern up next to you, so you can get the free pattern right here. And if you want several picture aids, you can get the premium PDF here. And of course, it is a line brand yarn kit, so you can get that right here. With my US 6 4.0 millimeter needles, I need to cast on for the back. And so I'm going to do a long tail cast on for this. I'm making a medium size, and so I need to cast on 46 stitches. So with the long tail cast on, you need to measure out 46. So I'm going to do that now, just wrapping it around my needle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 46. So that is about 46. I forgot to say when I started measuring, I left a little tail like about that long. And then I'm going to take about this much extra just to be safe. And then I make a slip knot, insert my needle. I have the working yarn on top and then the tail on the bottom. And then I'm just going to do a long tail cast on. So this is 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4, 45, and 46. So I have my 46 stitches on my needles. To begin row 1, which is our right side, we're just going to knit these stitches all the way down. So nothing fancy, just knitting. There's my 46 knit stitches that I did for row 1. So be sure to check your size for how many stitches to do, whether you look at the free blog post or you get the premium PDF or the kit. So row 2, you're just going to knit, or sorry, row 2, you're just going to purl. So purl all of these stitches, And then for rows 3 through 36, you're going to repeat rows 1 and 2 of knit, 1 row, and then the next row purl. So I'm going to do the rest off camera, and then let's meet back up for the back underarm increases. Here are my 36 rows. So let's do the underarm increases for the back section. You'll be using the same method for the front section. So let me teach you how to do a make one left and a make one right. So first we're going to knit one like normal. And then you're going to pick up this strand that's between the 2 stitches right here. And for make one left, you need to put your left needle from front to back. And so let me show again how to do that. I find it easiest to pick up this strand with my right needle, and then I make it so my left needle grabs the strand from front to back. So now I have an extra stitch that's on my left needle, and instead of knitting it like normal, I need to knit through the back loop. So rotating your piece towards you so that your needle is through the back loop, then you can knit it. And then I'm going to knit for my size medium. I'm going to knit until I have 1 stitch left in this row, and then I'm going to do a make one right. These increase rows are only going to be done on our knit rows or our right side rows. So just keep that in mind. So now I'm ready to do my make one right. Again, I find it easiest to grab that strand with my right needle, and then I manipulate it by putting it on my left needle. Make one right is from back to front, so it's the opposite of make one left, but then you can knit it like normal. You don't have to do the back loop. So I just made one right, and then you knit the last stitch there. So you can see what it looks like. I increased by 2 stitches for this row. So I'm going to continue doing this for the 30 rows total. And then let's meet back up on the left front strap where we're going to pick up stitches and start working the front straps here. So let's meet back up there. I finished my increases on the back of the underarm shaping, and I placed my stitches on hold. I like putting it on this, and I have it linked in the pattern. So now I need to do the left strap. So with right side facing, this is the right strap and this is the left, because that's how it will be when I am wearing it. And then using the 4.0 millimeter needles, I'm going to pick up 5 stitches for the size that I'm making. So 5 stitches at the very edge of the left. So I counted it out already and I marked it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now that I have my 5 stitches picked up, I'm going to purl this first row. First row is going to be the wrong side row. So we're purling to begin. 1, 2, I just split the stitch. Let's redo that one. There we go, better. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to make this strap for 15 rows, and then I'm going to begin my left front neckline increases. So it's going to go this way. So I'm going to be doing make one lefts. After I do that, then I'm going to do the same thing that we did for the right strap. I'm going to do the same, or the left strap, I'm going to do the same thing on the right strap. So joining and then picking up 5, going for 15 rows, and then doing increases to make the slant for the front neck. So let's meet back up on row 1 of the front underarm increases. I've done my left front strap and my right front strap now, and you can see I've done my neckline increases right here. So now I'm going to join in the front. I have my right front stitches already on needles, and so I need to get my left front strap on needles. Because I have these already on, it doesn't really matter what size is on the left because I'm going to be working it with the correct needle size. And so I'm just grabbing the 3.5 millimeter needles and popping it on the left strap because I just need something to hold the stitches. And then once I get all of these stitches back onto the correct needle size, I'm going to set these needles aside. So one thing that is extremely important is that you triple check that these are not twisted, that it's facing right side up, both the left and the right front. It's really easy to twist these, so triple check that. Now, starting on our right front strap on this side, we're going to do an increase right here, work all the way across, back loop cast on to join, work this, and then increase at the end of the row. So my working yarn is already attached over here because I worked my right front strap second. So I'm going to knit one, make one right, or sorry, make one left, knit, all the way across the right front strap until I get to the end. Now, double checking again that this somehow magically didn't get twisted. I have mine on a table, so I know it didn't get twisted, but just double check that you didn't twist your stitches and that the left strap and the right strap are still correct. Now we're going to do a backwards loop cast on. So taking the yarn in my left hand and my thumb, I'm going to wrap it by going over the strand of yarn and under to create a loop. And then taking the right needle and going into the loop and placing it onto my needle, my right needle. So that's one, and I'm going to use my right hand to hold that so that they don't twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 14. I only need 14 for the size I'm making. So now I can join to my left front strap. And again, I just have these smaller needles for my left hand right now, and I'm going to set these aside because it doesn't matter what size that is right now. Okay. So there's one, and then I'm just going to knit until there is one stitch left in on the left strap side, and then I will do a make one right increase. This is the same increases that we did for the back increase section. So I'm going to make one right, and then knit that last stitch. So now you can see it's joined across the front there. So I'm going to set these smaller needles aside, and now I can just use the correct needle for row 2. Let me just show you what it's like working into those backward loop cast-ons. The first row that you work into the backward loop cast-ons can be a little awkward, so you might have to go a little bit slower, but then it's smooth sailing after that. The most important thing with working the backward loop cast-on stitches is that they are not twisted. So you want all of the stitches to be facing the same way. So you want the little bump to be at the bottom, and it will want to twist at the front and the back. So just pay special attention to that part. So there is that first backward loop cast on that I work into. That one's split. Let's try again. There's the second, third, and the easier, the less stretched out these stitches are, the easier it is to work them. So I try to keep them really close together when I am working the end of row 1 after I've done the backwards loop cast on, and then row 2 when I am not quite working when I'm working this side and I'm leading up to the backwards loop cast on. I just try to keep the stitches from stretching out, because when they get stretched out, it gets kind of hard to see the backward loop cast on, and it is more prone to twist, and I'm not as easily able to see that it's twisted. Okay, there we go. So it does take a bit more patience to work your first row into the backwards loop cast-ons, but it is worth it in the end. So let me finish this row out, and then we can look at the backwards loop cast-on together. So you can see we're ready to do row 3 now. We can see that all of the stitches are facing the correct way. Double check that. Yep. And yes. So for row 3 and then the rest of this section, we're just going to be following the back underarm increase section. So we'll be putting increases on either side, the front and the back. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then let's meet back up for the main body round 1. This is what my tank is looking like right now. I put my back stitches back on a needle. Now here is my front, and I need to knit across here, and then I'm going to cast on stitches, doing the backwards loop cast on, and then knit into the back, and that's how we're going to join the front and the back together. So I'm just doing straight knit stitches across the front here, and then I'm going to do an underarm or a backwards loop cast on to join the front and the back for the underarm. All right, so I am nearing the last few stitches on my front. Let me show you how to join the front and the back. So for this sample size, I need to cast on 12. So you're gonna take the strand in your left hand, wrap it around your thumb, and place that loop on. And then take your right finger and hold it in place so it doesn't twist and get confusing for you. So that's 1, 2, 3. There's my 12 stitches. And now I need to double check that I'm not twisting the front and the back. So check the strap. Make sure it's facing the right way and there's no twists in it. So now this is my back, and I'm just going to slide these stitches down. And it says that before I join and start knitting on the back, I need to place my beginning of round marker. So I'm going to slip that on, and now I knit into that first stitch, give the tail of the back stitch a tug to make sure it doesn't loosen up on us. And now we just knit the back. You knit all the way around for the back. And then when we get to the end of the back panel, then we will cast on 12 stitches again to join the back to the front. And then you will knit across the front and get to these stitches here, and then you'll knit into the backward loop cast on and reach your end of round. I have finished the main body of my tank, so I'm ready to do the hem. I need to switch to my smaller needles, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stopper on this one just since I'm not using that one, I don't want my needles to, or my stitches to actually accidentally fall off while I'm working. Okay, so let me show you how to do the twisted rib stitch. It's really not that complicated, but it creates a really nice, clean, polished finish. So that's why I like to do this for my ribbing. So instead of inserting your needle like this, how you normally do, you're going to insert it through the back loop like that and knit. And then you purl. And then you just repeat that around. So inserting your needle through the back loop, knit one, and then purl. So you can see what it looks like. It will be more clear once we do more rows. But so I'm just going to do this all the way around for 5 rounds, and then I'm going to bind off. So I will show you how to bind off, and we'll meet back up at that point. I've done my 5 rounds of ribbing, so let's bind off together. This is my first stitch in the round, and so I'm going to do a twisted knit stitch, do a purl stitch, and then take that first stitch in the round and pass it over the second stitch. So we have 1 stitch bound off. Now we have a twisted stitch here again, so I'm going to knit through the back loop for that third stitch, take the second stitch, pass it over the third stitch. That's how you bind off, as the pattern shows. You're just going to do that all the way around, and you can see it's coming together now. So I'm just going to continue to do that all the way around, and then let's meet back up for the collar. Let's work on the collar together. So you can see this is the back. I have it folded over. This is the front cast on stitches that I did for the neck. And so I need to pick up stitches around the collar here. So I'm going to pick up 1 for 1 stitch along the back of the neck and at the front of the neck, and the straight down strap portions on either side. I'll pick up approximately 3 out of every 4 stitches, which is 12 stitches along the 2 straps each, and then 12 stitches along the slanting sections here. So I'm going to pick up all of these stitches here, starting at the back. So using my smaller needles, I'm just grabbing my new strand of yarn and I inserted it along the back neckline here. And now I'm going to pick up a stitch. So that's 1 going into the next stitch, 2, 3. So I'm going to do this all the way across for the back neck, 1 for 1 stitch. And let's meet back up for the straight edge section. All right, so I finished the back portion here. So now I'm to my straight edge here. I do about 3 out of every 4 stitches, which equals 12. So I'm going to do that. When you pick up the stitches here, make sure you're going under 2 strands to make it secure. So there's 3 stitches. So I'm going to skip this 4th one and go into the next one. So you can see my 12 stitches that I picked up here along the strap. Now I'm to the slanting portion here. And remember, I'm placing 12 stitches in this section right here. And that is about 1 out of every 2 stitches. So if I skip that first stitch and going into this stitch, and then skip the next one going into the next one, that will get me about 12. So here is my last, I need to do 1 more to get to 12. So this is my 11th stitch, and you can see I can skip that one, and then working into this corner one here. I need 2 strands though. I haven't woven in my ends yet, and so that's why it got really big. Okay. Now I'm to my front neck cast on. For the size that I'm making, I have 14 stitches here that I'm going to pick up. So there are my 14 stitches, you can see. So now I'm to my slanting again, and then the straight edge. So I'm gonna do that off camera. Let's meet back up for working round 1 of the collar. I've picked up the 98 stitches for my sample size of medium, and be sure that you end with an even number, because we will be doing ribbing and you need an even number. So to do the twisted ribbing, well, first I need to place my beginning of round marker. To do twisted ribbing, it's very similar to a 1x1 ribbing, but instead of inserting your needle like you normally would for a knit stitch, you insert in the back loop and knit it. That one looks kind of hard because that stitch was stretched out. So let me show you. So then you purl one. Okay, so let me show you how to do this again. Instead of knitting like normal, you're going to insert through the back loop and knit 1. The next stitch you purl. Knit through the back loop and then purl 1. Knit through the back loop, purl 1. So that is how you do a twisted rib stitch. And so you'll do that all the way around for the collar. When you get to round 2, you're just going to do knit through the back loop on top of the stitches that are knit through the back loop already, and then you purl the purls. And you'll do that for 5 rounds and then bind off like we did for the hem. So let's meet back up for the arm finishing. Let's go over how to do the arm finishing. You can see I did it on one sleeve already, but let's look at this sleeve together. It's very similar to the collar, so I'm not going to work it on camera, but I do want to talk about what stitches you need to pick up. So you can see these stitches right here are the underarm cast on. So we're going to do 1 for 1 stitch picked up here. And then you can see I marked right here. From here down is the slant. And so from here to here, it's just a straight knit line down. So from here to here, you're going to pick up 3 out of every 4 stitches. And then for these slanting stitches on the front and the back, you're going to pick up the specified number in the pattern, and I'll put that right here. So just a reminder, you're going to take your smaller needles, join in the underarm, and then pick up and work in the round, marking the beginning of round. And that's how you do the arm finishing. And that's how you make the easy straight tank. Hey friends, thanks for joining me on today's video. I have this video right here that I think you'll really enjoy, so go check it out and be sure to subscribe for more crochet and knit tutorials. My name is Rachel from Cozy Nooks Designs, and happy making!